When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis and a currently muted Jared Dubois.
I'm a professional. I didn't have anything to say yet.
I know.
And also, I was moving my mic, so I had it muted because I know how you feel about that.
For the first time ever, you're considerate of my feelings. What a breakthrough we've had tonight. We're only seconds into the show. Oh, it's going to repeat that.
How come that happens every time now?
As they do about each other.
Because sometimes you forget to hit the unloop button, which is the loop. The loop button is on.
I threw you for a loop by actually muting myself to move my mic, and it messed you up.
We did change up the start of the show, so that's partly on me. Like I chose to,
and also you're working off a different board now. You're working one that's like more of a cloud based. Yeah,
it's built in. I haven't even pulled up the old traditional board. People don't know that the board I use to play drops and music on this show goes back to the earliest days of the best soccer show. Like
it's an old rig you still have like going.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you don't have it on a rig anymore, right? You have it.
No, it's a software solution.
Okay.
If I can be technical about it, it's a software solution. It's called SoundPlant. I bought a license for this, like, I'm serious, a decade ago, like a long ass time ago.
Getting our money's worth.
It's still, I think. Let me make sure. I gotta see what my situation is sound wise, but I could look. And again, as you said, there's a board now.
Take us to DEFCON 3.
Oh. That's built into our web-based solution.
The old baby again now? Did you find that?
We do.
Hear that? That's the old Geo baby. Now we just need someone to score some bangers.
That's pretty tasty. There were some bangers in the Champions League today. Not that we're going to talk about that too much.
Americans?
Tim Weah's team did well. He didn't score, but his team did well. Paixão. You see Paixão?
No, I haven't picked up anything. I was busy at work today, so I didn't have.
Yunus Musa had the game-winning assist for Atalanta in a game that they weren't otherwise very good in. And he did miss also an opportunity to put a goal in on himself.
Call him up.
Breakaway. Call him up. Has he played his way back into this team? We'll talk. So before we dive in, just a little bit of a disclaimer for anybody listening to this maybe Thursday or at a point thereafter. We're doing this show on a Tuesday night. We never do this show on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Tuesdays are not the night for this show. But things schedule-wise make sense for us on a Tuesday. And the roster is supposed to drop on Thursday. So we're not going to be able to talk about what's on that roster for October, Jared. We're just not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it in theory, but we're not going to have the actual information in front of us tonight.
So you don't want to go on the record with some picks and then be very wrong on Thursday.
I don't give a crap
Mauricio
about
Pochettino calls up like, I don't know. Who's a player? Andrew Gutman.
We've already established that it's impossible to be 100% right with Pochettino's call ups.
He's
going to throw you for a loop. Someone like Roldan's going to be in there. Someone's going to be in there that's going to be like,
again,
really?
Maybe off of the back of that September. The thing about it is though, like as much as I have my issues with Mauricio Pochettino, and I do, I got some issues. It's a relationship. You know what I mean? Like. It's a relationship. There's always going to be some frustration. Like you're not 100% on board with every single thing your wife does. Sometimes she annoys you. Sometimes
I ain't going on record saying that.
Sometimes you're is she doing a board call right now in the same room that you're sitting in?
No, she's not this time, not this week.
No, but okay. So she's not there, but you're still being very careful. I have a whole floor of space between me and my wife is upstairs, currently watching Scandal. Anyway, there's a chance you won't be going to work tomorrow. It's a whole thing. Anyway, what I was going to say about Pochettino in this relationship is sometimes it's a little frustrating. Sometimes you don't know how to read that person. Like sometimes you don't know, like we're all a little bit codependent with our partners on some level. I mean, I may be more than others. I don't know. But when you see that face, you're like, uh-oh.
You done something.
But then they're like, oh, everything's fine. You're like, oh, wait, I'm so confused. You looked like you were mad.
Don't fall for it.
Oh, you think it's a trap? You think it's a lie? Okay, you think it's a lie?
Always a trap.
Always a trap. But Pochettino, he doesn't give a lot away. And then we find out he's got some weird opinion about things that we didn't.
But listen, but we could all be wrong. Like we said, he said, I've been in my tinkering period, you know?
That's pretty funny. Matty Showtime. My wife's call-ups would make more sense than Mauricio Pochettino. All right. So as you said, we're not going to really do a ton on the roster. We might throw out a name or two. Obviously, we expect there are some players in ink on that roster. I am interested to see about Weston McKennie and what's going on with him. Now, as you and I talk, he's getting ready for a Champions League game on a Wednesday. Will he be in the lineup? Will he play? I don't know.
I think he'll be on the bench. He's been on the bench in their last 2 league games. I don't know. I can't see it personally. I think he's going to be left out. I mean, I think he'll be on the bench.
You mean for Juve? Yeah, but probably in the team for the United States.
Yeah, I think he gets called up. I mean, it depends how big of a message Pochettino wants to send. He's getting some minutes at Juventus, not a ton, but enough that, I mean, if it's going to be enough for Musa to get called up, he's getting
sorry about that. I crossed my wires. Continue, sir.
I mean, if it's enough for Musa to get called up, then it's enough for Weston McKennie to get called up. You know, that goes for a few different guys. You know, there's some guys that are probably going to get called up that may not be every game starters in Europe, you know. So I think he gets it. I think it's on Weston gets another chance to prove himself with the best 11. And if he's not rounding it to form and he's not showing him, or especially I think in camp, in practice, that's where Weston, I think, has rubbed coaches the wrong way in the past. So I think he gets to come in, he gets to work out, and it's a chance for him to show him that he can meet the standards and expectations of Pochettino.
Yeah. But he regardless of sort of what's going on, you know, around Weston at Juve and obviously that September thing, I still find it really difficult to believe he's not in the plan. And I'm not saying a locked in starter. Some people took issue with that when we talked about it before, but I would expect him to be in the plan. Now, a guy we definitely know is 100% in the plan because he's the United States' most important attacking player. And of course, he is having an incredible start to the season with AC Milan, who is now atop the table in Serie A after the win over Napoli, is one CP10 Christian Pulisic for the United States national team. Of course, wearing 10. Banger of a start. So you wanted to talk about this a little bit in terms of how this ranks sort of historically. We know he passed Deuce for the most goals by an American in a top 5 league in Europe.
Leading the Serie A in goals and assists right now early in the season.
Yes, he is indeed doing that. Wearing 11, CP11 over at Milan, CP10 for the United States. So how do we do this? How do we put this in context?
So I think the question is this, what I was thinking about today is it's a fantastic start to the season and one of the most red hot I think any American player has been in Europe. And I started having a conversation with myself in my head. Is this the best 2.5 month period any American has had in Europe? We know he's got the most goals all time. We know he's the best European player America's ever put over there. It's not even debatable anymore. I don't think it's debatable. People would argue, again, we did this last week. The guy's got a Champions League on his belt, you know, like
there are goalkeepers who might be in the conversation.
I left goalkeepers completely out of the conversation, and I left defenders out of this conversation too, because it's too hard to have something finite statistically to offset. So this is purely an offensive conversation.
There's never been. I mean, Tim Ream had some nice moments at Fulham, but he was a championship player for a lot of that time. We have Gooch, a nice run in Belgium.
I mean, you can maybe see John Anthony Brooks in the Bundesliga.
Okay, sure. There's that.
I mean, if you really want to cheat the rules, Neven Subotic at Borussia Dortmund, Champions League. Sure. You know, there's some things out there. Brad Friedel, Tim Howard. I mean, there's guys in that conversation that are going to be harder, but I just kept that from an offensive standpoint. Goals and assists. That's because for a lot of these guys, maybe they had better games where they were playing better, but I can't tell that 10 years later, 20 years later, like what they look like.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Right.
So what I did is, so as a baseline, Christian Pulisic right now, 2025 to start the season, 6 goals, 2 assists. And I believe that is not counting cup goals. I mean, there's probably a little bit more if I could do cup, but I believe 6 goals, 2 assists right now to start the season. If you want to have transfer market up and check my homework on this, feel free.
Sure. I'll check FBref, which is usually my go-to. So I'll check on that. But okay. Again, well, I guess the numbers do matter. The specific numbers do matter for comparison.
But I'll tell you, I didn't pull cup ties for all these other players that were happening.
Oh,
during
I
this
see what
period.
you're saying. You went strictly on league. I got it. Okay,
Yeah, so I went strictly on league on this. 6 goals, 2 assists, couple chipped in also in the cup games, but through 8 games, fantastic start for Christian Pulisic.
Okay, so 5 league matches, 4 goals, 2 assists. So those other.
So
two
I did cut.
cup.
Sorry, I must have grabbed the cup then because I said 8 games here. So I probably did grab the 2 goals from the cup. Sorry about that. 6 goals, 2 assists, including cup ties for the first 8 games. So what's interesting is I pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other American players from the past that have had similar starts, and I just want us to kind of like talk about it, maybe rank them. Like, is Christian Pulisic the best 2-month period ever for an American overseas?
Let's do it. All right, we can try.
So let's go way back. We'll start super way back to start. Okay, this is the oldest stat that we're going to pull up, and this is one Roy Wegerle.
Oh baby,
1991-92 season, playing in what then was, I believe, first division. Yeah, Premiership started in 93, right? So this is League One, or the first league, the top league in England.
Yeah, I think it was called First Division. The first division, English First Division. Yes, yes.
So if he started the season, first 6 games of the season, 6 goals, 0 assists in 6 games. So averaged a goal a game for the first 6 games of that season in England in the top division. So already off the bat, we've got a guy who's also started the season 6 goals in 2 less games than Christian Pulisic, but didn't chip in any assists.
Okay.
So now it becomes kind of like, what is this? England wasn't England then as well.
No, of course not. No.
You could probably argue that Serie A may have been the best league in the world at that point in the early 90s. Bundesliga, it's not the Premiership that you think now. Still great teams coming out of there. Even Holland at the time in the Eredivisie in that point, still one of the top leagues in Europe. England wasn't the Premiership it is now.
No, Serie A was
a little
maybe even
context
dominant at that point in time. You go back to the 90s. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So we've got Roy Wegerle, 6 goals, first 6 games of the season. Let's kind of talk about these at the end, but I'll kind of go through the next one. So I'll go chronologically. Okay. So next one that I want to talk about, very next season, this one in Germany, 92-93 Germany. Any idea what player I'm going to talk about?
Sorry, what years? What was that?
92-93, this next season after Wegerle in Germany. Who's over there pre-World Cup 94? Who's in Germany banging in some goals or assists and stuff?
Pre-World Cup 94, banging goals and assists. Is that... I'm gonna mess this up. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just gonna not.
You definitely don't want to get this wrong.
It's Eric Winalda. Okay,
obviously,
yeah.
So Eric Winalda.
Okay, he had what? How many seasons in the top division did he have? Because that's
I don't
timing
recall.
of that.
There was some second Bundesliga in there. I think he was with Sochim. I think that's what this one was at. The ones I'm going to talk about right now. I believe it was Bundesliga. I don't think it was his Bundesliga 2.
I think this was the Sauerbrücken year. That's
right.
Sauerbrück, because he went to Bochum later.
Yeah,
I think maybe 2 years later.
And I didn't put the teams next to that. I should have done it. I just made quick notes on my phone when I was going through, so I didn't write the teams down. I should have done that, but I believe this was a Bundesliga season. So this 92-93, over the first 9 games of the season, 6 goals, pretty good.
It's interesting because he only finished with 9 for the entire year.
Yeah.
So he slowed down a lot. Yeah, hot to begin the season. And
I'll say this, there's a number of players right here that it's in the first games of the season. A lot of these guys got hot right off the start. It's an American thing, it seems like. So Eric Winalda matches Christian Pulisic for goals. Christian Pulisic 6 goals, 2 assists in 8 games. Winalda 6 goals and 0 assists in 9 games. So I think
Are you sure 0 assists, or do we maybe don't have stats on assists at the time?
I would tell you the same site I got Wegerle's assists as well. Or I got other assists. I also got, there is a column for assists on this website, and there was nothing there.
Colin wants to know, do you guys realize how good Eric Winalda was?
Like, I didn't watch him play.
I hear from him every day how good he was. Okay, every single day of my life I'm being told
he thinks he was
by Eric Winalda how good Eric Winalda was. Now, he was obviously damn good. He obviously was.
Poacher, full on poacher. I mean, he's very in that vein of like a Taylor Twellman. I think that's more of a modern day reference of who Eric Winalda was. I think now we're missing that player at the international level right now, like that poacher guy. Maybe Brian White could be that player, but he's not right now.
I just responding to things that are happening in the moment. I know for after the fact this won't be anything, but I just random S-bomb in the chat. Shit is what that word is. I don't know. We curse on the Mike Thomas telling us saying shit, and I was like, what's going on with Phil and Miketon about what Inter Miami has scored, and it is now 3-3 between Inter Miami.
Was it 3-0?
It was 3-1. It was 3-1. Now it's 3-3. So,
jeez. I mean, the Miami's
he was
alive.
I don't think Eric. Yeah, I think to Colin's point, I don't think Eric was. I don't think he was a poacher.
What?
As much as he wasn't a poacher.
I watched him play, Colin. I don't know what to tell you.
I know,
think
but he wasn't. He wasn't a Wanda.
It's not a negative thing, by the way. Like,
no,
that
sure.
is a huge part of being a striker. Are you going to tell me he was good in the air? That's not Eric Winaldo's game.
No, 2-yard runs will give you a bunch of goals if you make good 2-yard runs. So you barely have to do much at all to get on the end.
Trying to have revisionist history about Eric Winaldo being a good striker. He's a great striker, but I personally feel that he was more of a poacher's striker, which is an unbelievable talent.
It don't matter. We're not arguing with Colin, who's in the chat. We're talking about comparing seasons to what Christian Pulisic is doing right now at AC Milan. That's what we're doing.
So next one chronologically. We're going to go with 04-05 Eredivisie. 04-05 Eredivisie. Any ideas? 04-05.
05. Are we talking 4-05?
So after World Cup 2002?
Yeah. Are we talking about like John O'Brien assists? Is that what we're talking about?
No, similar period, but different player. Think PSV.
PSV Eindhoven in 04-05.
Yeah.
That goes back. My brain's not doing the work for me. I don't remember who this was.
That would be DeMarcus Beasley.
DeMarcus, okay, that's the assist. I'm looking for assist from the wing, and I picked the wrong American player. Got it.
Yeah,
DeMarcus.
So this player, DeMarcus Beasley's 04-05 in over 10 games. So we're getting a little bit looser now. This is the most games that we'll take a sample size off of.
Is that the PSV Eindhoven team that made a quarterfinal of the Champions League?
That's that one. That's that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Over those 10 games, DeMarcus Beasley, 4 goals, 7 assists over those. So, wow. I mean, averaging over a goal contribution a game over those 10 games, which is very impressive. So 4 goals, 7 against. Obviously, this is the lowest goal total we'll talk about here.
This is the first one I'm like, oh, maybe this is better than what Christian's done so far.
I mean, 10 games, that's a long time to be consistent over. That's a third of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite big. I mean, Pulisic's at 8 games right now, 2 of those being cup games. A little bit padded, maybe a little bit padded playing some cup games. Always playing the top tier teams and their best squads. So I think you're right in that it's in terms of this is a conversation about form and being hot. DeMarcus Beasley was hot during that time. That PSV team, for a PSV team to make a late run in the Champions League.
Well, pretty good. I would say that's also the era that Porto won with Jose. It's also the era. I mean, it wasn't quite as stratified as it is now. Right. It was beginning.
I think it was the beginning of the Eredivisie not playing defense kind of thing. It was
maybe that
still a lot of talent. I think similar talent at that time would be Zlatan around that time. I think
I do think Ajax, that if you're talking about that era, or you're talking about any era really of Dutch football, anybody but Ajax doing that was notable. Right. Even now, I think if PSV Eindhoven made a quarterfinal, it'd be like, well,
Ajax just did.
Yeah, that's true. Ajax is not good right now. So yeah, I guess maybe. Well, okay. Either way, I do think there's a question.
Interesting to be talking about. We'll look at the whole picture at the end, but that's the next one chronologically. Next one, we're going to get to. This one's a little bit obligatory, but at the same time, the stats are there because this is one of the people that when you talk about Pulisic in Europe in comparison, the first name that comes to your head is who? Who are you comparing Pulisic to in Europe for Americans?
Clint Dempsey.
So Clint Dempsey's hottest point, purely statistically, is 2011-2012 season, over 8 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. Let me remind you, Christian Pulisic right now, 8 games, 6 goals, 2 assists.
Oh, here we go, saucing them up. Hit him. What?
Same exact totals over 8 games. So interesting that the guy he gets compared to most in terms of like being able to do it. This is in the Premiership. This is actually when the Premiership now, unlike when we were talking before, when England is England. Very tough competition. I don't believe any of those were cup games. I'd have to double check on that. It was more in the middle of the season whereas Christian Pulisic early in the season, you're playing more cup games early in the season. But yeah, so interesting. It's almost like apples to apples. Like it's hard to say statistically Christian Pulisic is having the best season of best hottest period ever for an American.
Yeah,
when Clint Dempsey has matched it.
Sure, and I think that would be. That's where my debate would stop. As great as Run DMB was at PSV Eindhoven, young in his career, as good as Roy Wegerle and Eric Ronaldo were in the 90s, in the early 90s, when it's very difficult to compare league quality and really kind of drill down on all those things. And I think you have to consider. I mean, I'm not saying that maybe this could be the tiebreaker. I'm not saying that it's 100% Christian Pulisic is having a better run than Clint Dempsey did, but the pressure that's on you to perform at AC Milan is different than what Deuce was dealing with.
I'll say this too, though. I'm going to add something in to play devil's advocate. Clint Dempsey had more pressure playing as an American in 2011 than Christian Pulisic has in 2025.
But
Christian Pulisic has also been one of the people that's turned the tide of that conversation. The guy has a Champions League ring, like.
Yeah. Do you think that there's something to the? So who else was on that team with Deuce in 2011?
That one got 2011. Bocanegra's on that team.
Well, no. So I guess what I'm asking
offensively,
you
mean? The tall Knight is that Knight, I believe.
Is that Knight?
I think so.
Okay.
There's Danny Murphy, I believe, is on that team. Davies, Simon Davies, I believe. My eyes are closed, by the way. If I'm getting any of these, that's pretty good.
I'm
that's
looking
a good
at
pull
this.
for me.
So this is 2011, 2012.
Am I right, Simon Davies?
I don't see Simon. No, yeah, he's down here. Sorry, yeah, Simon Davies.
And then is Danny Murphy on that list?
Who'd you say? I'm sorry,
Murphy.
I don't see Murphy. Okay, so now I'll give you names. Andy Johnson. Andy Johnson was the second leading goal scorer on that team behind Deuce. Pavel Pogrebiank. Somebody help me with the pronunciation there.
Sure.
Danny Murphy. Sorry, yes, Danny Murphy. 6 goals. Danny Murphy. By the way, I think this is all comps that I've got goals for this team. Damien Duff, Irish player,
yeah.
Bobby Zamora. Although these numbers can't be right. Something's wrong with this number. Steve Sidwell, Brian Ruiz.
Yeah, in the chat,
Costa Rican,
I saw
international.
Credit to Razilla the Thriller, said Ruiz.
Yeah. Musa Dembele was on that team. Man, this was a while ago. Mark Schwarzer was their goalkeeper. Anyways, or one of their goalkeepers. Yeah, he was their starter. It's this what I'm looking at now, and I'll have to double check these numbers. What I'm looking at now.
Compare that to the AC Milan roster.
Right. Well, this is what I was going to say is how much of the load was Deuce carrying compared to Christian, right? And it feels like, I mean, obviously there are incredibly talented players around Christian.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that puts Santi Jimenez on there, but Leao when he's healthy deserves to be in that mix. But yeah,
Rabiot's having a fantastic season. That Rabiot's probably a better midfielder than you're going to find anywhere on that Fulham lineup.
So how about goals per 90 minutes? How about that as a measure
for those two people in the same season?
Well, it's tough. We're considering starts here, like the start of the season.
Yeah, Dempsey's in and out. By the way, he had to keep winning his way back into the team over and over and over again.
Well, that was his final year at Fulham before he left for Tottenham, and he parlayed 17 league goals into that move to Tottenham. Remember, they were talking about him going to Liverpool, and it didn't happen.
Yeah,
17 league goals, 6 assists on the season, so 23.
17 and 6. Pulisic last year, 15 and 6. I think 15 and 6 last year, but 2 seasons in a row of that. Did he get 15 and 10?
Yeah, something like that. I have to look at that. I'm going to look at all comps because I want to see. What I was looking at before had Dempsey with 17 goals in the league, a goal in the Europa League, and
the goal in the Europa League. That was
the goal in the Europa League, and I think that's all I got for that season. Did he not make any cup appearances, or they're not listing them here? It doesn't matter. Is Christian Pulisic going to match that season, goal output wise?
I think so. He's done the last 2 seasons. I think there's no reason to think why with this start he can't hit it again. He's going to get the minutes if he stays healthy. I don't see any
Yeah,
reason
that's always the question.
he doesn't have the Champions League this year. To the last 2 seasons, he had to put Champions League minutes on his body.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because remember, I don't look. It's not necessarily apples to apples, but remember that last year Napoli won the Serie A title, Scudetto, not playing in Europe, right? Not having Champions League football or whatever to deal with, and when you have an Antonio Conte team who runs themselves into the ground, that was actually a boon to that team to not have to play. And who ended up being the player of the year in Serie A? Do you remember?
Which season?
Last year in Serie A.
Last year it was off of Napoli. It was
yes. Who was it?
Dang it. Oh, I'm blanking who it was of Napoli. I'm sorry. Who was it?
It was Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay won Serie A player of the year. And I think I might have said this last week that because there's no Champions League, so he can't gain a lot of plaudits in that regard. Like he's not going to get European attention. It's just about Italy for him. If you're right though, if like limiting those minutes and so there's a very good chance he's got a player of the year season in him. Now it might also depend on what happens with Milan, and what do they have the staying power?
If Santi Jimenez starts finishing some of the chances Pulisic gets him, he could be up there. I mean, the guy should have 3 more assists right now between Nkunku and Jimenez already this season.
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to have it, and that's without Leao. Now the question is, a lot of rumors are Jimenez is going to go to the bench, and Leao is going to be the second striker. If that's the case, it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 players play because things are working right now for
Milan. Who's making central runs if they do that? Who's making those central runs?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They're top of the league. So Allegri is not incentivized to make a change right now. This is working. They're shutting out teams with goalless draws. They're topping the league. They got the best offensive player in the league. It's kind of like, man, I've got this Porsche in the driveway, but it's raining out. Do I take it out? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Look, do you think this validates the need to take off or his decision to take off the Gold Cup that sit out?
I think if you're going to perform like this,
you have to perform like this to make everybody forget.
You have to perform like this. So already, I'll tell you my feeling. I was like, as I'm watching, they're like, well, the kid was right. Kid was right. If you're gonna make the decisions he's gonna make, then you better produce the results as a result of it. Right now I ain't mad at him because he missed a bunch of games that don't really count for anything. I mean, it's Gold Cup, I guess, but Nations League's around. What's the Gold Cup anymore? Would you rather have first place in the Gold Cup or a Serie A player of the year?
Well, okay. This is going to get into something that I think speaks a lot to who we are as American soccer fans. And we've talked about this a lot. I would like us to be past the point where we care about our American players in any other way than just like, oh, they're in form and they're healthy.
Come on, dude. Like no player's ever been a player. No American's ever been a player of the year in a league, No,
but I realize that, but that's what I'm saying. Like we are still in this era of firsts. Like we need that to be validated. We need Christian Pulisic to go prove that Americans can play by winning Serie A player of the year. Like we not even winning the Champions League or scoring an important goal in a Champions League semifinal made us feel good about that because, eventually Christian Pulisic got dropped and the Chelsea situation devolved into chaos and he got sent packing for less money than Chelsea had paid for him from Dortmund. And so again, we're in this thing like because we don't have 2 or 3 Pulisics, and not a lot of countries do, I get it. But because we're not Spain or France or whatever, there's this desperate need for our guys to prove it can be done by Americans. Like if Christian Pulisic does not win Serie A player of the year and shows up healthy and scores 3 or 4 goals in the World Cup next year, obviously I'm not going to care about the Serie A.
But at the same time, if he gives player of the year and US goes out in the first round, that questions to be asked about what if he made the right choice last summer.
Well, maybe. I don't know. That might not. That might be
a role in it.
I guess that might be a thing, but I think it would be more like.
I guess why can't we get this Christian Pulisic with the national team? Is it because of where he plays on the? Because he's playing centrally now.
Yes, he's playing through the. Yeah, he's playing in Allegri's system. I guess you could call him.
And listen, he's got Modric and Rabiot around him. That's better than what he has at the U.S. national team level. But he's also playing weaker competition when he plays CONCACAF teams.
But I actually think that there's this weird inverse thing that sometimes happens with quality players who are used to that sort of environment and being surrounded by players at that level, and facing off against quality teams that play, reasonably organized tactical football, which is absolutely a feature of Serie A. It's in CONCACAF in particular, it's chaos. Like there's a lot of chaos that goes on. He gets kicked a lot. That's not, not that he doesn't get fouled in Serie A.
He has a better chance of playing the correct kind of ball he wants to play at the World Cup than he does at the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I think that there is, maybe. I think
we're going to play teams that are actually going to try to play offense.
In Serie A, you're saying?
No, at the World Cup. At the World Cup.
At the World. Well, again, that depends on the draw, right? That depends on a lot. We don't actually know.
But overall, that's going to be the case.
I mean, the draw is happening early December, and we will see. I think Christian Pulisic largely brings it for the national team. I think a lot of the problems tend to be I don't know. I mean, I think it's about the team around him. Sometimes that stuff's not as functional as it needs to be.
And the team around him is changing a lot this last calendar year. I mean, it's different players constantly.
What does that midfield look like right now when Christian Pulisic comes back into the national team?
Like a Jackson Pollock?
What do outside of maybe Tyler Adams just anchoring a midfield, what do you think is going to happen?
If we had stronger wide forwards, Christian Pulisic could play at the top of the midfield, in under behind. You could put him in the middle and get to do some of the things he's doing with AC Milan. But when your drop off from Christian Pulisic is Brendan Aronson, I don't think you can play that game. You've got to play him in that area of the field. But I got two more players to compare here. Two more players.
Okay.
Next one chronologically, very next season after Dempsey's 11-12 is 12-13. So this is 2012-2013 season in Holland. Any idea
that's Josie Altidore, right?
That's Josie Altidore. And this one is going to be damn impressive. Okay.
Yeah.
In 7 games, 7 games, 8 goals, 2 assists, averaging 1.3 goal contributions per game.
Here's what's going to happen.
So you can say instead, I'm going to say, I know we're going to say the same thing.
Well, Clint Dempsey had himself. He never had another 17 goal year. He never had a year like he had at Fulham in 2011, 2012.
Also playing a lot of midfield.
Yeah, he get pushed in the midfield. But otherwise, people have a very high opinion of Clint Dempsey because he was relatively consistent over the course of his time in England.
And did it at the highest level he ever played at.
The Premier League, even then, one of the best leagues in the world.
That is the Premier. That's Frank Lampard Premier League. That's it's the Premier League.
And I definitely think that regardless of era, you wouldn't have the Eredivisie anywhere close to that Premier League, right? So it doesn't matter. This is
compared to when we were talking about DeMarcus Beasley 04-05, that Eredivisie versus the 2012-2013 8 seasons.
We're talking about 7 seasons, whatever that is.
What was starting in the Eredivisie in Beasley's year, is full now in that place where there are so many goals being scored that the defense. But I don't even know is so inconsistent.
I don't even know if that's true. That might be true.
I don't want to knock Josie. He killed it that season.
Okay,
but here's the thing: what we think about, he had like 27 goals or something like that. I can remember it was. He still finished 4th in goal scoring that season.
That says something.
The leader, I think, had 40 something.
Yeah, that does say something. That's a data point that matters.
I want to say it was Luis Suarez.
It might have been Luis Suarez. That's a data point that year for sure, and it is one that doesn't speak. It doesn't speak to like, look how dominant he was.
That threat at Heerenveen.
He scored a bunch of goals at Heerenveen.
Yeah, Wilfred Boney. Good call, Jackie. It was Wilfred Boney. You're correct.
Wilfred Boney. Wow, that's a pull. So the other part of it, though, is that Josie didn't go on to do the job in the Premier League or any higher level, right?
Yep.
He did not back up that performance in a way that makes you go, this is a really good goal. Even if he had scored 10 goals in the Premier League in a season, people would have been like, that was a really good season. It's a great.
How many goals did he have in each of those 2 clubs? Do you remember?
0.
Same number. Same number.
0.
1 at each club. This is not Josie Altidore hate. It's not.
I am a Josie Altidore truther. I am a Josie Altidore truther. I think Josie Altidore was a very, very good soccer player. I think he was an incredible passer from his position that he still does not get
Good back to
enough
goal
credit
player.
for. Incredible back to goal player. I think he had some great moments with the national team. It really sucks he pulled up with that injury in 2014, which really kind of upended things. I will say, however, you have to consider the years after the Eredivisie, and you have to consider the Eredivisie at that time, and that means that it's his as much as his output is better, it doesn't measure up. It doesn't measure up to Deuce, and it doesn't measure up to Pulisic.
Yeah, I agree. So statistically, you could make the argument, but I think realistically, there's more to be said there. So let's talk again about stats and more to be said, because here's my last one. It was just last year.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what player I may pull from last year?
Hold on. Let me give me one more second. I just remembered something.
Okay, good.
This is reaching deep into the annals of the Best Soccer Show. But I seem to recall that in the very early years of the Best Soccer Show, when we were still new and green, I may have even been beardless for a while for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Josie Outdoor was a guest on our show, like one of the first.
Shout out Jeremy Pond.
Jeremy Pond got him on our show back in the day, and we really, I mean, I don't have a connection to Josie anymore. He's, obviously got a famous wife and he's doing his own thing. I think he's investing in stuff. I see him on LinkedIn popping up every now and then. Shout out to Josie Outdoor. Josie Outdoor, again, whatever you want to say about him as a player, and I do think he's underrated by national team fans who want to always say, "Oh, he scored against the Minnows." That's all he did was score against Minnows.
Yeah, that's more of Eddie Johnson's stats. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, okay, Josie does have a bunch of goals against some pretty weak teams in CONCACAF, but I will say, actual good dude, actual good dude, and I appreciate it about him. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, last one. Last year, any idea what person I may be pulling from last season that would have a period that would equal or be in conversation with Christian Pulisic?
In Europe last season.
Striker.
Oh, Ricardo Pepi. No. Was he hurt? No. It wasn't Ricardo Pepi. Didn't have a run like that.
No.
Okay.
Now I am cheating a little bit here. Okay.
Why?
Because it is not a top 5 league.
Okay. Well, then Ricardo Pepi's not in the top 5 league. So
top 5 country. Not top
Josh
5
Sargent.
league.
That's a good shout. Thank you. I cheated. I looked at the chat. I shouldn't have looked at the chat.
This wasn't a game. It's all right. So Josh Sargent last season, 24-25, over 8 games, 8 goals. Damn consistent. Goal a game. But the knock, of course, is that's in the championship, which you could argue may be harder to score in sometimes than Serie A. The amount of physicality in that league and sloppiness sometimes in that league.
Yeah, man, it is. That's the thing. I don't know that it's market. I guess I have to think about it and maybe even write some stuff down. But do you ever think about whether we're in a different place with national teamers or U.S. eligible players? Not all of them that get called in, obviously. But do you think we're in a decidedly different place than we were a decade ago?
You mean in terms of who we have to choose from? And where they're playing?
Who's out there, where they're playing, how they're playing.
I think we have way more options in Europe than we did before. I mean, who was playing in Europe that wasn't getting called in back in the day? Connor Casey, he got a lot of call-ups.
He went to Germany, right? Did Connor go to
he was in Germany for a while. I mean, who was playing and we're like, oh man, we can't fit him into the roster? Eddie Lewis was getting minutes.
That's true. I guess Charlie went from Sweden to France.
Charlie, when he was healthy and playing, was getting called up in France.
Sasha's a good shout. That's actually an interesting one. He wasn't.
But we're talking down at Belgium level though, where that's not top 5 leagues. That's what we've been talking about. Yeah, Sasha. Even Gooch was in the Jupiler League.
Americans. So I guess maybe what's different is there was a period.
But Doyle was playing in France.
We had a bunch of Americans in the Premier League. I'm trying to think of who was there.
Well, okay, you had a bunch. You had a bunch at Fulham. Obviously, you had Bocanegra, McBride, Dempsey, Breck Shea, Eddie Johnson, all at Fulham at some point. The Everton boys were also McBride, Joe Max Moore way back in the day.
That's way back. I'm talking about at the same time, like
Landon Donovan for a period. Tim Howard.
Yeah.
At Manchester United for a while, you had Johnson Spector, eventually at West Ham.
Yeah, I went to West Ham. I was thinking about that one. Okay.
Eddie Lewis at Fulham as well and Leeds? Was
Yeah, he
both
went to
of those?
Fulham. He might have gone.
You
He
had
might have been.
Bobby
Leeds was in the
Convey
Premier League at
at
that
Reading,
time.
and you had Marcus Hanneman at Reading. By the way, all
Yeah.
these off the. Come on, give your boy a little bit of
no. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think that we went through a pretty fallow period for Americans in the Premier League, and I think it's back to a decent level with Tyler,
A lot of defense
with
though. I don't know. Maybe that's
with
not
Brendan, with obviously you got again the thing about like a player like Jedi is that yes he's a U.S. international. And I'm not trying to take I'm not trying to diminish that, but we didn't send him over there, right? He was already there. He was already there. I don't know. It's just interesting to think.
I think there's a dearth of Americans in the Premiership right now. I think this is one of the lower times in quite some time. But I think that's also we have a lot more Americans succeeding in other leagues right now as well. When you look at the performance of Christian Pulisic and McKennie, like over the last 3 years at Juventus, and the amount of minutes that he's seen. Johnny Cardoso making a move to Atletico Madrid.
Outside of Michael Bradley going to Italy, we just didn't have. There was nobody. We had no players in Italy. That was not.
But let's be honest. If you want to win a Champions League, you probably shouldn't play in England. Most of the time, they don't win. I mean, it comes from Spain. It comes from Italy. Like Champions League winners are coming more often from other countries than England.
I think that depends on the moment. Obviously, Manchester City won one recently. That's a different level of spending.
Yeah. But
and Americans
Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good question as we kind of muse about this. So we now have an American who is a very important player, maybe the most important player at one of the most famous clubs in Europe. That's AC Milan. Yeah. Like there's no doubt about that, right? And we also have another one who's playing at the most successful team in the history of Italian football at Juve. And we had two before Tim Weah left.
Yeah.
What is the next? I mean, is it a starter at Real Madrid? Like, is it or Barcelona? Like, do we need to get to that level before that's another first in this whole thing? Obviously, Champions League winner again.
What are you talking about? We had one. Serginho Dest.
Okay. We had a Barcelona player for about 5 minutes.
He started for a while for a very limited time. He was
for Barcelona. I would also say again, not to diminish Serginho Dest, and I'm glad he's back, and I'm hopeful he's going to have a nice run to the World Cup next year. But there is something different about a player who grew up here going over there and making it than a player who comes out of a European location, upbringing in Europe. Like I love Jermaine Jones. Give me that player all the time.
And another reason why I give Clint Dempsey so many flowers, the dude went to college first.
Yeah.
Like 22 before he started playing professionally.
Where he went to college too? Do you know
Furman.
this off the top? Furman. You know Furman? You know where that is?
Yeah, and Rico Clark.
You know where that is?
Nowhere.
Do you know their mascot? Any guesses?
The Fighting Furs?
I could give you a billion guesses about Furman's mascot, and you would never ever get it. I think, and I'm not. This is not me. I'm not a D&D guy. Okay, I've never been a D&D.
Is it a paladin?
Guy. It is a paladin. Yes, it is. It is a paladin. Why are you shaking your finger at me? What's up?
No, this is from Chris Huey Cordell in the chat. New Jersey's Rossi doesn't count as American. Nope, he doesn't. He wanted to.
He was not an American international, but he was American, and he did start his soccer career in the United States playing.
But the point I was making with Dempsey, though, that when you think about his trajectory, and let's compare it because we say Dempsey's probably the people I listed. His start 6-2, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 games in the Premiership. The closest thing we can compare to Pulisic, right? That's the one that's probably the most equal. But when you look at Beasley is in Europe at the age before Dempsey's out of college.
Yes.
Like there's a difference there in terms of pedigree and cutting your teeth.
Okay.
Dempsey had to overcome so much more with the way the path he took.
No, he did. And he deserves
not to say anything for handed to Beasley or anything like that. Beasley earned his stuff too. But you think about American in the Premiership, not even playing professionally till 22.
Yeah. So another thing. So I asked you, like, what's the next, like, we had the joke, we had one at Barcelona, but obviously a player starting at Real Madrid is a different level. Like, even if they don't win the Champions League or whatever, right? A player, we've got a player at Letty. That's great. He's hurt right now. Didn't play in that win.
Why do you think Steve McManaman went? Because like there was this thing at the time, English players can't play at that level in that league. He went over there for that reason.
Yeah,
Steve McManaman probably wishes he hadn't. You know, he probably would have done better if he had just stayed.
maybe he is
Part of that. He was
very
on the
much-
Galactico team, or was it Owen that was on the
He's
Galactico
a
team?
Real
was
Madrid
Owen.
homer, Steve McManaman, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a trailblazer, deserves it.
Sure,
What are you
but
doing?
even
What are
for
you
England,
doing?
though, what I'm saying is, even for England in the 90s,
Oh, yeah,
early
Real Madrid.
2000s,
Yeah,
there was
Real
still
Madrid.
this allure that we hadn't really done that.
So
England
again,
hadn't
this is
done
what I'm
that.
saying. Like, as much as I don't want us to be chasing these status achievements, which again
Everybody
is why
does
I'm
it.
like,
Everybody does.
well, there's some level of it in England, but it's mostly about their team performance in Europe, like the Premier League club's performance in Europe. And Spain does not give a shit. They don't have any. They're not like, wait. Spain just wins trophies if, they're, I don't know, Spain, France, they're not really like, oh, this player has achieved something. They've already achieved everything, right? They have no first left. That's my point.
Would you have Henri
still
and
have-
Zidane in your history? Like,
We still have
you ain't
first left. And Mexico's like this too. Like, I'm not putting Mexico on a different level than us. They're the same way. Like, Chicharito at Manchester United was a massive deal, right?
Yeah.
That was a massive, massive deal. Obviously, having a starter, a goal scoring player, especially at Man United, would be something, even though they're terrible now.
What's bigger?
Okay.
Chicharito having the success he did at Manchester United, or what Christian Pulisic's doing right now with AC Milan?
Ooh, United was a true Champions League contender during those Chicharito years, right?
As Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo was still there at that time, right?
I think Chicharito wins this battle.
It was a Nistelrooy that was there with him. I can't remember.
Man, if you even asked me to pin down a year for all of that, I would struggle a little bit. What are we talking about?
For sure, that Manchester United team is better than what AC Milan is right now.
2000.
Sure.
Okay, yes. So the teens, 2010 to 2015, was Chicharito's period at Manchester United. So what was United doing? And he also played at Real Madrid on loan. Yeah. So he scored double digits 3 times in the Premier League.
I would say it's safe to say, despite the fact Chicharito didn't get Champions League. No, he didn't get a Champions League. Christian Pulisic has that in his pocket, but I think you could make the argument that Chicharito still has had the better European career than Christian Pulisic at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Still, I think that's probably right. I don't know that I would contest that.
But we haven't seen Christian's back end. Chicharito's back end is bad though. The back end, the Germany years, it's not good.
Yeah,
but his highest highs.
Leverkusen? Do you go Leverkusen? Is that right?
I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then maybe Spain for a tiny bit, I think, after the end too.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah, I think Chicharito probably still. I mean, Pulisic has plenty of time to chase him down. Like, I have no doubt that he's capable of doing.
I don't know how Austin means this in the chat. We'll see how long this run goes for Christian. It's gone 2.5 years now. Like, over 2 years.
In terms of playing very good soccer at AC Milan, absolutely.
I mean, it's not a flash in the pan right now. I mean, he's been their top performer for 2 seasons, and he's starting this season the same way. Granted, yeah, we got to see if he can hold out, but I think at this point, you have to say it's a success.
Yeah. By the way, Chicharito won 2 Premier League titles.
Yeah, Jackie says he had 17 goals in Germany 1 year, but I think the drop off after that was pretty severe.
They did not win a Champions League. You're right. They did not win a. They were runners up. That would be his first season. I don't remember how much he played in that first season at Man United. Did Chicharito? Yeah. Look, so again, I'm coming to this, like, what would be the pinnacle? What would we need to, like, feel like we've not made it? American players have, like, done enough.
I think a Champions League where you're an essential player. Like Christian Pulisic scores in the semifinal, doesn't start the final.
He was a part-timer.
Yeah. And for as much as we think that Tuchel was crazy for not starting him in the final, they won, and I think Christian, if this AC Milan team can make the Champions League and next season can keep this run together, who knows if Modric has another. It's unfortunate that they're peaking right now and they finally seem to have figured it out and they're not in European competition. That's unfortunate for this team this year. I mean, who knows if Modric has another season in him.
The other thought experiment was, if you had a time machine, what you mentioned Clint Dempsey going to Furman. A lot of that had to do with where he came from and getting seen, and the era that he came out. He wasn't playing in the hotbed of Southern California like Landon Donovan to get spotted as a 17-year-old and get into the national team picture and all that stuff. And you could argue that maybe
Deuce may have peaked later.
Yeah, maybe Deuce wasn't ready yet, but he did. There's an FC Dallas Academy when Clint Dempsey is coming up in Texas. Maybe he goes pro at 17 or 18, right?
Yeah. But maybe he does have the chip on his shoulder that makes him the player he was.
No, that's a thing too, right? So this is what I'm saying is, like, if we had the time machine and you could change history, would you go back and get Clint Dempsey into a pro environment earlier? Or is there something else? Like, what is the thing you would change?
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't begrudge him if his answer was different, because I'll take the career he had, because I think it was amazing, and I have pride in it as an American, watching him play and seeing the things he did. I don't wish for more from him, because I think that was almost the most we could ask of an American at that time. But and also, who knows, with all those extra minutes, injuries, there's all sorts of weird things that you change that.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
But I would not begrudge him if he wishes he had got the chance to test himself earlier. But me as a fan, I'm okay with the career.
So you wouldn't take the time machine and somehow manage to get him spotted and get him into a pro environment.
If I was in a time machine, I would use it. If I had a time machine to go back and do one thing differently in American soccer, do you know what I would do?
What is it? No, that's what I'm asking you. What is your thing?
I would tell Charlie Davies not to get in that car.
Oh, baby.
That's the one. I mean, to be honest with you, that's the one.
Ooh,
and I don't say that to insensitive or anything. That is, like, it saves people's lives, first of all.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if
it goes beyond soccer. That's not, you're not being just selfish about
that car. It's still crowded. I have no idea. But
sure.
I would tell those people not to get in the car. How's that? That's my way of saying I would tell
if you could impact the whole situation, you would say don't get in that car. If you could only impact Charlie, you would say Charlie, don't get in that car.
Yeah, and I think that is the one, because that is an unfortunate. That's always the what if. The way he was peaking in that moment coming out of 2009, and I mean, it's just such a tragic thing, and not just from a soccer, but from all around standpoint. And I would love to save those families that pain, and to have Charlie not to have that pain. I think he's made his peace with it now, and he's moved on, and I think he's good. But I would like to have seen that story play out differently.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. Yeah, maybe
or to tell Weston not to go out that one night.
That's not the one in Nashville. Don't go out in Nashville, Weston. Maybe it's that one. Maybe I tell those guys to walk through the puddle in Cuba. Just walk through the puddle, guys.
Yeah.
Stop it with this thing about being carried across because you got
Omar Gonzalez. Don't try to hit that one. Don't try to touch that
one. Omar, just stay away from that. Don't do that.
But yeah, is there a better one? I mean, the only other thing I could do is like go back in time and tell Hugh Dallas, make sure you watch that handball at the line at the end. You know
that one. Maybe I mean this one's not quite on the level, but maybe like somehow sabotage Johnny Evans so he doesn't play in that game and break Stu's leg. Yeah, maybe that's one of them.
Go back and get some kind of like get some what are those stem cells and inject them into John O'Brien's knee.
How about this? Go back and tell
knee or ankle for John O'Brien. Was it ankle or knee?
It was knee. No, it was knee. Go back and tell Clint Mathis to chill.
Chill. I actually went back and looked at his stats at Hanover for this, and it was close. It was close. Yeah. It was like 5 goals, 9 games or something like that. It was close, but not enough to put it in here. Like Clint Mathis, baby. Clint Mathis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. Man. You can see the exact game. When you're looking at his stats, it's like there's goals, there's minutes. It's not all the minutes. It's like not very consistent. And then it's nothing. And that's the game where he scored. He did that. Coach sat him after that. It's so weird to see that season and his minutes go to 0 despite production.
Everything else I can think of is like a game that went the wrong way. So Hugh Dallas is a good one. Obviously, Torsten fucking Frings.
Mike Thomas says don't leave Landon off the roster.
Maybe.
Austin says Wondolowski. I'm assuming that means the Belgian.
Is this one out of bounds? Tell Johnny Harkes to keep it in his pants. So is that?
I don't think that changes 98 that much, to be honest with you.
Maybe not.
Steve Sampson's still going to Steve Sampson.
I know, that's true. This
is going to be a 6-3-1 out there, unless we feel that he ran a 6-3-1 because he didn't have John Harkes.
That's true. Yeah, maybe he would have done something different. 2010. There's really not much you can do to change 2010, is there? In the knockout phase.
I mean, maybe tell Bruce Arena don't be so cocky with the don't believe that number. The ranking.
2010.
Oh, 2010. Excuse me. I'm thinking 2006.
I'm talking about.
2010 was pretty good, man. We got the Algeria goal. We pushed. I think that's as good as that team was.
That team topped out.
He lost to Ghana in that game.
But obviously
Rico
that's
Clark goal, the Rico Clark give up. That was, or is that 2006?
That's not 2010. That's 20.
I'm
That's
getting my ones mixed up.
Yeah, 2010 is where Charlie would have been in the team. If you had gone back and told him not to get in the car, then Charlie's in the 2010 team, and we're not taking.
Yeah, man.
Who we take?
Robbie
Finley.
Yeah.
And Herc. Herc was on that team.
But I think Herc was justified more. He was having a great season in Mexico at the time.
Maybe 2014. There's not much you can do to change the Belgium result. It's always going to be like that, probably.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the answer to that question is the Charlie Davies moment. It just has so much on the line.
I still think Cuva. You gotta find some way to influence that Cuva result. Maybe tell Bruce not to play the same exact team he had just played a couple days earlier against Panama. Maybe that's the move. Don't play the same team. You're traveling. It's hot.
What you can do to affect that game though. Like, what can you say?
Again, no. Tell Bruce if you play the same team, you will get beat.
Do you think Bruce's
he wouldn't listen
ego
to you.
is open enough to like listen to feedback?
What the fuck do you know? That's what he would say. What the fuck do you know? You don't know shit. That's what he would say. That's true.
And I love him for it.
Man. And 2022, is there anything in 2022 to change? The tactics,
behavior, his parents.
Oh yeah, I guess that's what it is, right?
I mean, we didn't play one of our best creative players. You know, he got like almost no minutes, and it was more of a personnel decision than a quality on the field decision.
Maybe. Can you, by the way, we're about ready to wrap this up. El Presidente, the man in charge of the Sons of Ben. Can you apologize to Justin for not knowing about his impending nuptials, that you had missed out, that you had missed this news?
What, I don't stalk him. I need to apologize for not stalking him.
The man, again, I told you, is posting in the Slack.
I saw him post a goal, I think from his rec league, where the guy took it from the 18 box all the way down and scored. I saw that. I think that was on Instagram though.
Nice. Can we also mention for our Philadelphia Union faithful, which includes Justin, the president of the Sons of Ben, and our man Phil and Miketon, that Chicago found 2 more goals, including an absolute banger. You want to play it? Hold on. Let me find it, because you were talking about it earlier. I got to play it. That's for Brian Gutierrez, who scored a banger for Chicago to help them beat Miami tonight, which means the Union can win the Supporter Shield with a victory over NYCFC coming up this weekend. And also think one is very much due for Alejandro Zendejas. Did you see that goal?
Yeah, 2 goals, right? If you're not mistaken.
Yeah, but that one where he sort of I don't even know how to describe that goal. It wasn't. He didn't hit it. It was finesse. It was placed.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a run right now with America, man. We literally have one of the best players on one of the best teams in CONCACAF, and if you're Pochettino, and he's giving you a goal when you needed it the last window, I think he at least gets a call up. I mean, I think he makes it into there. What other? He's in better form than Timothy Weah right now.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's a little bit rough on Weah, but yeah.
But I think he's in better form right now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. No, it is. I mean, it's also different parts of the season and all of those things. But yeah, Alejandro Zendejas is a fabulous soccer player. It's whether or not he fits into what the U.S. men's national team does, and whether he can affect games in meaningful ways against high-level opposition. That's the bottom. I mean, this is, again, comes back to the question about Pulisic and sort of who's around him and what kind of level. You know, Clint Dempsey, is that a better season because he maybe didn't have the talent around him that Pulisic does at AC Milan? Right? That stuff matters. And your comfort level and how your manager uses you and things like that. And this is why when we talk about the international game, when we talk about the U.S. men's national team, any coach that sort of like overcomplicates it or is too rigid in how he plays, it feels like it maybe isn't the best approach, because you're only seeing these guys for a bit of time. You're not going to get a full book on them. You can watch them play for their club team.
You know who I didn't mention when we were talking about Americans in Europe during that time period?
Who's that?
Jeff Cameron, Stu Holden.
Yeah. These guys deserve recognition for what they were doing. Obviously, different positions. Yeah, Brad Guzan. Yeah, sure. I know you mentioned Michael, who did it at a couple of different places. Remember about Michael at Aston Villa? You remember that was the thing for
Bradley?
Yeah.
Man, I forgot he even played. I always think of like the Kiev Verona years, the Roma years, and the Erving years. Those are the ones I always like.
Well, what about Germany? Don't leave out Germany.
Yeah.
So he played 3 games for Aston Villa on loan. He was at Gladbach, yeah. which is
I mean,
also,
you could honestly say that Michael Bradley may have the second best European career after Christian Pulisic out of outfield players. You could make that argument.
That one's a tough one, I
You
think.
think Clint Dempsey's better?
Yes, I think so.
Shorter.
I mean, again, Michael was at Herenveen, second tier league.
The guy did
He was at Gladbach. He what?
4 different leagues.
Yeah, no, you're right. He did do that. He did do it in 4 different leagues.
You know,
And he made 250 plus appearances for Toronto. Just a wild one. He
and then came back to 250. I mean, you forget how young the kid was. I mean, he's 16 at New York. I think when he goes to Herenveen, he's what, 17, 18 at that point.
Yeah.
Started young.
Do you see him get honored? We didn't talk about it. You see him get honored before the game?
Yeah, I did. I was stoked for him. I think he gets way more flack. We're old enough to remember that there was a time period where people thought he was only on the team for nepotism. That was a thing. That was a real talking point. And the fact that no one says it anymore has to feel so good for he and Bob, you know, when they look back on that.
Maybe. Yeah.
I Bradley earned those spots.
I still think there are people who hold a grudge over Kuva and 2018, but the man ranks among the
he did have a good career.
No, top 5 U.S. men's national team players of all time for me. Top 5. Yeah. I don't think that's controversial, but maybe some people do.
I mean,
maybe
say Mount Rushmore of European Americans if you take goalkeepers out of it.
I mean, we can do the Mount Rushmore framing. Okay, Mount Rushmore of Americans in Europe. Pulisic's there. Dempsey's there. I
got a weird one, but you're gonna be like, ooh, when I say it, Steve Cherundolo.
Oh yeah, Dolo. Well, that one's interesting too.
It's hard because he never went one spot. He'd never move around, and they never won anything, you know. Like, but the guy was a mainstay in Europe at a very good German team. You know, I think maybe that one falls by the wayside. Maybe falls by the wayside. Yeah. I think Bradley gets maybe that third spot
in there. Yeah, Bradley's in there, and then
McBride again, kind of short. You know, like McBride maybe. Who am I missing?
I don't think you're missing anybody in terms of, because it's about, if you're talking about longevity being a factor, it's really tough because there's not a lot of guys that had that run in a top 5 league.
And there were the early time, like John Harkes may have been in that conversation at some point, but there was these guys came back to the US to start a league. You know, it was a big deal. Yeah. It was something personal to them. Like if Marcelo Balboa had been in Europe instead, if Tal Ramos had been in Europe instead, you know, these guys, they came back to do something novel for American soccer. So I think those guys, there's some, man. Yeah. I think it's 3, and I don't know who the 4th is, man. I don't know who you go with for the 4th.
Feel like there's somebody I'm missing.
Mike's saying McKinney's making the case, but I think he's too up and down in his career so far. We'll have to evaluate that one at the end.
Yeah, well, there's a chance that a guy like Tyler finds a way into that list. You know, it was up and down the Leeds thing and injury. Yeah, I get okay. Yeah.
I mean, is his career that different than Michael Bradley's?
No, you're right. It's very similar in terms of sort of bouncing from a couple different between
Germany, Scotland, England.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Like he had some good years in Germany, had some good years in
a time where being American was still a negative. Yeah. You know, DeMarcus Beasley could be in that conversation as well.
Claudio Reyna is probably.
I think Beasley's my last man left out on that.
Yeah, and by the way, I know it's not top 5 in terms of sort of like but I think if you were going down a tier, I think Gooch probably is in that conversation. Yeah, for his time in Belgium in particular, right? Yeah. Maybe even Bedoya. Bedoya had a really decent European career by American standards. I mean, let's not forget that. Sasha Kljestan in these years at Anderlecht. I mean, I know this is second tier stuff, but yeah, I think you're right. Mo Adu, I think, is getting a mention here. Yeah, I don't know. He's borderline. I don't think he does. I don't think he beats out Claudio, but he's in there. Yeah, he's in there.
I don't think he beats out Gooch. Bocanegra, it would be in that same category as well.
Bocanegra, and he had Premier League.
Honestly, years. I would put him ahead of Gooch. I would put him ahead of.
Yeah,
Gooch.
that's probably fair.
Mainstay in the Premiership. Mainstay.
Yeah. And Tim Ream, by the way, probably deserves to be in this conversation too. He had enough Premier League years, especially towards the back half of that career at Fulham, where he absolutely deserves to be.
He wouldn't be above Bocanegra to me, but he would be above Gooch to me.
Okay. Okay, and maybe two more seasons and Jedi Robinson's in this conversation too.
Yes, agreed. I think he ends up on it. On it. All right.
Wow, we did it. We did a thing. Thank you very much for listening and watching and all this stuff that you did on a Tuesday night. Again, apologies that we don't have a roster breakdown for you right now. I'm sure we'll have something in the very near future during the window. If you want to be part of the Slack where you can congratulate El Presidente Justin Friedberg on his impending marriage and nuptials and bonding with his wonderful future
Get
partner.
a link to the register, buy him something.
Yeah, there you go. Buy him something. You can join the Besties Patreon at patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. I just posted one of my Daily Davis things today where I give a little behind the scenes on some stuff happening on the other thing that I do on YouTube, which is Morning Kick Around. I think I talked about the radio. I did not call you the wrong name tonight, and I would like credit for that, please.
No, that's the default. That's the minimum expectation.
I think that I should still
WNBC. WNBC.
You're right. That's so funny. Like, hey, I want to be patted on the back for not fucking up. Can you do that, please?
I didn't shit my pants during the show either. Okay, like what?
It's a good point. That's a good point. All right, patreon.com/thebestsoccershow.
That you know of.
Supporting Morning Kick Around as well. Mr. Dubois, congratulations to the Chicago Fire for making the playoffs for the first time in forever. I think we're done. Is that it? Are we out of here?
That's it, baby.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Get to the chopper!
Damn, dog, that's in a post.
It was there. Oh, here we go. Soften them up. Hit them. Wet.
Danger zone.
The Sausage King of Chicago.